All right, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the Utah Jazz here. First, we have is let's talk a little bit about Walker Kessler.
Yeah, absolutely. So Walker Kessler has looked much more like he did during his rookie season. He's back to blocking shots. He's getting more points per shot attempt, and he's just being an absolute force on the court. And it's been really fun to watch him during. He's kind of been the bright spot in this rough season for this struggling Jazz team. So the question on my mind is Walker Kessler a key part of this Jazz team rebuild? Or are they just making sure he's got enough minutes and he's going to be an asset for the future moves?
So I'm not one to delay an answer just for the sake of more watch time.
Yeah.
But in this case, I'm going to delay you a little bit here on this one, and there's a reason why I want to talk about that. I want to talk first about the health of this team here. When it comes to that, you got to mention health when it comes to Walker Kessler, and and part of why his improvement has been so substantial over the last year. Last year was supposed to be his breakout season, but he did get hurt in the first game of the year. Still say it was a cheap play by Sacramento there. It was rumored that the Jazz didn't really like the way he was working and developing his game as being more of a stretch big and getting comfortable shooting the corner three, etc. That's kind of that stuff that he was kind of working on. It's been said that during his exit interviews last season, they wanted him to work more on getting stronger and focusing more and more on what made him great his first rookie year, which is around the basket, diving on the pick and roll, and being more aggressive on the boards. Right.
Yeah.
And that's really paid off. I think that stats are muted right now. He's averaging 29 minutes per game. Usually when you see the number of, up into the mid 30s is where you want to see it for your starting center at his age.
Yeah.
You want to see in the mid 30s. However, I think the Jazz aren't really trying to win games right now, and having him play more than 30 minutes would kind of affect that. So I definitely think his stats are a little bit muted than what they're actually probably doing. I mean, right now, if he's around the 30 to 35 minutes per game, you'd see his points increase to 16 points, 17 rebounds in that territory, somewhere around there. So absolutely, I think when it comes to the two options, I don't think that he was part of a trade bait. I don't think Danny Ainge would stop from trading anybody, even his own mother. It's a running gag on this show that he'll trade his own mother for 2 first-round draft picks. But
absolutely, sorry, mom.
Yeah, but we do have to say that I do have to say that I do think it is permanent that he is part of the original discussion as part of the rebuild. And I think it had something to do with the USA basketball and kind of shook his confidence there when he came back. He tried to do better, got hurt, and it just didn't really work out. I think he's part, if the Utah Jazz have any type of long-term plan, end goal games, which I'm not confident they do, but if they do, Walker Kessler's part of it.
I totally agree. I mean, 100% agree. The fact is he's right around 10, 12 points per game. He's rebounding 9 to 10 per game, blocking 2.5 to 3 shots every game, and he's shooting close to 60% in the field goal, right? Obviously, Walker's impact is most noticeable on defense, right? His shot blocking's been absolutely absurd, and he's one of the best rim protectors in the league right now.
For sure.
That's all there is to it. You can argue with me all you'd like. You will be wrong, and I'm sorry.
He's not sorry.
His rebounding, it's just been huge. I mean, his ability to rebound the ball is really setting him apart this season. He continues to develop on the offensive end, which is making him a weapon. I mean, he's just becoming that guy that you can rely on to get a bucket when you need one. He's always there, pulling down rebounds for you. And there's a point in any rebuild when you have to stop collecting assets and start building players.
Mm-hmm.
That time's right now. The fact is we have a bunch of young talent, and we're going to go into another player of our young talent here in just a minute. But Walker's one of those young talents that we have, and it's time to start baiting all of these guys and trying to get future first-round picks. We don't need first-round picks anymore. We've got first-round picks for days for the next 4 years.
Right.
What we need is talent. We need to acquire talent. We need one more draft, and then we need to start building these guys, getting them on the floor, and developing players so that this Jazz team can start winning basketball games.
I like it. I would argue the point, though, that we actually need 2 more drafts.
I think one more draft because
no. We need 2.
2?
Imagine you got Scoot. Sorry, not Scoot. You got
Scoot Henderson.
Scoot Henderson.
Wow.
Breaking news here.
The Jazz have traded for Scoot Henderson.
We'll get back to what I was talking about there in a second here. Let's hit a few of these here real quick. We do have a couple of comments there from Greg, watching Ainge trade, watch
Trade Kessler for picks.
I would not put it past him, Greg. But to what you mentioned there, AJ, that's not. We have enough, right? We don't have more than OKC, but that's a different story for a different day. We definitely need to talk into that about where we're going on the rebuild path. We also have another comment here from Greg that says, "Part of me wonders if Ainge is discovering that getting players in SLC is different than bringing them in Boston. The rebuild could take a while." Yeah. I think they realized that when both him and Ryan Smith came out and said they want to go big game hunting and they wanted to start training some of these assets and training some of these young players for prove it now talent, and it just didn't happen. Every trade they tried to make, the players blocked. Every free agent, they signed somewhere else. Utah Jazz did not do well in that market, this space, and I think they know that now. Okay, it's been proven to us that we've got to build through the draft, and that's got to be the way we could do it.
Yep.
Speaking of which, we need not one more draft, we need 2 drafts. So we need Cooper Flag, but we also need
AJ Dabansa.
AJ Dabansa. That's right. Can you imagine that backfield? Sorry, backcourt. AJ Dabansa.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yes, and then you have.
But that means we have to be
Cooper
bad.
Flag.
I don't know if I can be bad for 2 more years, man. I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah,
I guess
that's
only one more season, right?
Yeah.
I guess that's only one this season and then one more season.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I just think it's really funny that AJ Dabansa is literally the 5th highest paid player on SEG payroll.
Yeah.
And he's playing for BYU.
Yeah.
So I just, and they have, he even said it in his press conference interview with what's his name? Stephen A, that the reason why he chose BYU, apart from the $5.8 million, whatever that was.
It was like $7 million, I think.
Something ridiculous like that, anywhere from $5 to $7 million that he got, that they are building. That is an MBA professional program down there. They have an MBA head coach. He interviewed and could have had plenty of head coaching jobs that he wanted to have in the league. He chose to go to BYU. Their strength and conditioning coach down there is from the pro level. They're building a professional program down there to move people into the league, and that's basically what they're going to get. That particular pickup has to be one of the greatest recruiting prospects that the state of Utah has ever gotten,
right,
in history. I would love to hear anybody argue any different. Now, if the guy falls flat on his face in his first year, okay, well, that's that. But as far as a prospect coming out of high school goes, I don't think Utah's ever lined up.
Yeah, I mean, just crazy.
Yeah, so between those two, that's why I say they need to suck for 2 years. They start with Cooper Flag, and they get AJ Dabansa. Then you got Walker Kessler,
Laurie
Marketing, and then
Colin Sexton.
I don't know if he's still around.
Oh, they were keeping Sexton. Did you see that play last night?
Just because he plays well doesn't mean they won't trade him, dude.
They'll trade everybody.
I love it. I love it.
What else we got in comments?
That's a running gag there for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk a little bit more about this subject that we want to talk about when it comes to players that are just all out of their mind right now, and you can't talk about that without talking about our boy Brice Sensabaugh. He had himself quite a weekend, didn't he?
Yeah, he sure did. He's obviously had some really crazy, really impressive performances for the Jazz over the last couple of games. He had 27 points off the bench in the 105-92 victory over the Magic. He's really just shown kind of a prowess, and it's particularly kind of in his shooting efficiency, right? He's really been an asset to this team. He's averaging 9.4 points a game, and that comes along with a per 36-minute scoring rate of 19.4 points. And he's shooting 42.7 from behind the arc, which is insanity. He's really kind of developing into a playmaker, and it kind of shows. I mean, even Will Hardy in some of these post-game interviews is saying that he's really making better decisions, and his ability to involve teammates is really what's making Brice Sensabaugh a lot more special on this team. Even though his performances have been really promising over a couple of games. Obviously, he was out last night with injury, is what I'm going to say.
No, it was illness.
Illness?
Yeah, he was sick.
Yeah,
there's a flu going around the team.
The thing is Darren, is the Jazz don't want to win games. And if Brice Sensabaugh comes out and scores 30 points in 2 games and we get 2 wins in a row, when you've got 4 of your 5 starters out, he's ill too. Everybody's ill. Okay. This is 100% by design.
Okay, fair enough. So there's not a real flu going around.
I don't think there's a real flu. I think there's a flu called Brice Sensabaugh started going off And they're like, "No, your ass is sitting down."
Go take a cold shower, Bryce.
Exactly.
I like it. That's funny.
I mean, it's just really important to recognize that this guy's career is still so young, and he still has so much upside. I mean, he really hasn't played in that many NBA level games, so it's really cool to see him in a couple of games that he gets significant minutes. He really showed up. He showed out. He is such a dynamic scorer that he is just really, really fun to watch when he's on the basketball court. He does a good job spreading the ball. I think that he could very easily evolve into a sixth or seventh man in this rotation. And if that's the case on this guy as a late first round pick, the Jazz are going to take that every single time.
I'd have to agree with you there. We talked a little bit earlier in the year before the season started about which guard we're more interested in seeing this year. My pick was Sensabaugh.
Yeah.
I believe yours was Collier, Isaiah Collier.
Yeah.
Who's
Who's playing out of his mind as well.
playing very well.
Yeah.
I love his ability to penetrate in the basket, body up, throw in his shoulder. Anyway, back to Sensabaugh here. To me, I think out of all the guards we have, out of all the young players we have, I think this one's going to be the one that has the likelihood to stick with the team long term. I even think him over Keontae.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's a hot take.
So it's just his potential is much higher, and I don't see much more development beyond what Keontae has now. Than I mean, yes, he does have room for development. He's not in his prime yet, and all that stuff. But I just see that Brice Sensabaugh's raw flash of raw talent is already showing through on a consistent basis for this team. Something we haven't seen from any other of the young guards.
And he's a great shooter,
which is huge. That's a 13% improvement over last year in 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
42 points.
He's probably already taken 4 times more this year than he took all of last year.
Exactly. Well, he's got like 10 less because he played in a few more games.
Yeah.
But he's like right now he's about 10 threes less.
Right.
But that also the overall field goal percentage is over 9% higher, and his turnovers are way down. They're less than I think he's less than a 0.7% on turnovers per game over last year than this year. So it's slowing down for me. He's figuring it out. I really like what we got going on with Brice Sensabaugh. I really think he has the opportunity to be sticky with this team, and I really hope they keep him because he's a piece that other teams are going to want for sure.
Yep, totally agree. I mean, to kind of close it out, he's demonstrated such significant potential, and his contributions to this team right now are so important for him as a young player, and obviously the Jazz is a program that is looking to build and develop some of these young talents. And the fact is with development like this and a little bit more consistent performance, this guy is going to become a key player for this team in the future.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
We want to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think. Also, we do want to talk to you about Utah Jazz DNA. For those of you who don't know who are watching this on our main channel, we did launch a channel called Utah Jazz DNA, which is specific for all your Utah Jazz content. All of our content around the Utah Jazz will be posted here first. So make sure you check it out. A link to that channel will be in the description below if you're watching this on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap. If you're watching this on Utah Jazz DNA, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We're giving away one of those sweet new statement jerseys, the Utah Road black jerseys that you saw in yesterday's game. Those are sick out on the court, man.
Yes, they are.
They
look
amazing.
So good. Yeah.
It was a home game, though, so it was kind of weird they were wearing them on a home game.
Doesn't matter. They're still sick.
They are so sick. We're going to be giving one of those away, so make sure once this channel hits 1,000 subscribers, we'll be giving one of those away, so don't miss out on that giveaway. A link to Utah Jazz DNA will be in the description below. Be sure to check it out.